Hi everyone. We wanted to make a video about project-based learning, how we follow the children's interests. So I wanted to speak to you about the areas that you can set in your home to support project-based learning, how it's important that we sit back and watch and listen what it is that our child is doing and exploring, and how we can then follow the threads of your child's learning and support them with the skills that they need in order to carry through their project. So the first thing that you can do at home is set areas in your environment that are where children can always access them, and it is a space where they feel that this is theirs. So when an interest is sparked, they can head to that area and start playing and start seeing and start building. Have an outdoor area on the balcony where there's water play and all kinds of toys along with that. Maybe you could set up a stage or build a theater. Cardboard boxes work fantastic for this. Or you could have a Lego zone. Lay out a carpet, and that whatever is left on that carpet is allowed to stay. You could have a blocks area where you bring out all the blocks in your home and that space is held for block building. Children could build a fort or a tent, and inside that tent, if you have one in the cupboard, maybe has its own type of role playing in it. Like I've done, we've set up a recycled materials area. If your child's really interested in art, follow that. Set up a space where there's painting and all kinds of scissors and things to snip and fun things to create with, glue. You can have a writing desk for those children that you have that are really excited about making books. Have the stapler there for them. Have the loose papers and all kinds of sparkly pens and fun things that we use to write. There's the muddy play area for those of you who have a garden. Head out into there, and what types of toys could come into that. Have a science lab where you get the old tubes and all kinds of little bits that are in the cupboard that you don't use anymore, and if they can make tonics and potions and bottles and mixing and testing. And then a role play area. You know, maybe this is a store, maybe this is something, but it's a place to start. Maybe this is a restaurant where your child is doing the cooking in the back and the serving out front and the taking of orders. Any kind of role play, any kind of dress up. There's so many types of places to start. It's really important that you set these spaces with your children so that they feel a sense of ownership over it, that they feel that this is a space that's for them, and that these spaces can stay. Projects don't last an hour, don't last one day. Oftentimes projects can go on for a week, possibly two. So having these areas stay put is a really important part of the project-based approach. And then once these areas are set, our role is to sit back and watch and listen. What is it that the children are trying to do there? What's being created? And once I listen and see what are they trying to come to understand, we can better support our child. Maybe through questioning, maybe through supporting them to do research, maybe in teaching them the skill that they need in order to accomplish that task. The third thing that we can do is then sit back and follow the thread of your child's learning. Really listen to them. What is the next question that they have? Where can this learning go? And just follow along and see what can happen. See what sparks their interest. So one example of this is what we've done in our home, where we've set a space out of recycled materials. Now my son Ben knows that these materials are laid out in an appealing way and that he can return to this space whenever he wants, even to tidy it, or he can add to the space. This is his zone for learning. For a few days last week, he started to build a city, and we made a little video of that experience. Shortly after making the city, Ben moved on. He didn't spend much time with the city. Really, the city was all about the building for him. But when we were down at the pool, he saw a little boy with a boat, and the toy boat that he had, and Ben really wanted to use a toy boat. So he came up to the recycled materials area, which he knows he has access to anytime, and he started taping and building and putting pieces together to try to create his own. And then he wondered about how to get his boat to move, and so he propped up a sail because he knows that sails push boats along. And there was lots of problem solving in just the building of that. And then Ben took the boat down to the pool and watched it sail and watched the tape kind of disintegrate in the water and honestly watch his boat fail. So then he decided, I'm going to bring this back up. I'm going to try again. And he got more tape. He tried to get things together, but it just wasn't fitting right. And so in the end, he decided, I need to really learn how to build a proper boat. So this is where I was able to step in and say, okay, you know what, Ben, let's research on YouTube how to build a toy boat. And there he found lots of videos, but the one that really spoke to him was the boat being made with popsicle sticks. Also because those are material that we have in the environment. So he started thinking, how can I do this? In the building of that boat, he came across needing to use skills for measurement so I could teach him where to find the middle. He needed my support in starting to know how to cut, but as soon as I had taught him that, I could step back and let him do it. And then step by step, and pausing and watching the video, pausing and watching, he built his boat. We still haven't found an elastic for him to use, and we're waiting until we can get to the grocery store to buy that. But the next step, I imagine, will be that he's going to be wanting to trial it out. If it doesn't work, what would he build next? I had said to him, how could you share this learning with your friends and your teacher? And so he wrote a book of how to build a boat. He showed his peers all the steps that he took in building this boat. And so in this project, and in setting a space that Ben felt he had access to, and then sitting back and watching what he was doing and supporting him with the skills that he needs, but really letting him take the interest, and then following that thread, encouraging, hey, how can you share that idea? He's created a boat, he's done scientific testing. In that he's learned math skills with the measurement, problem solving and the failing that he had, and his pieces kept breaking, and the resilience needed to continue to return back to that project. And then in writing the book, all the literacy experiences that he's getting there. Me needing to support him a little bit with the sounds of the words, him using the form in his drawings, and recalling and remembering the experience enough to be able to write a how-to book. So projects last over time. Projects are transdisciplinary in nature, and projects are a way of learning where the child is in control, where they are following their joy and following their interest. And we'd like to invite you to do the same at home. Set up some of these areas, sit back, watch and listen, and then follow the thread of your child's learning. It's so much fun.